Good morning. Welcome to Worship with Methodists across the Gallatin Valley here at Bozeman United Methodist Church and Living Waters United Methodist Church in Belgrade. I'm Reverend Eric Strader, one of the pastors here at BUMC, and it is so good to have you with us today. I want to invite you to take a moment and make sure you sign in the comment box, the chat box there, so that we know you're here. As well, take a moment and put your prayer requests in there also. We have a couple of announcements we want to make sure you're aware of. There's a lot happening every Friday during April as we head towards May the 2nd and returning to the sanctuary. We're going to have a video that's going to help take you through the process of what we are doing here in the sanctuary. So last Friday's video talked about the why of the changes we're making and then walked through what those specific changes were. If you have questions, I really hope you reach out and ask them, and we're in dialogue. And if you need more information, please know this is an opportunity to get in. Sunday morning discussion group will start with a new offering today, the book Native Identity, Belonging, and Rediscovering God. If you need the room link, please see Reverend Amy. The youth mission trip will have a meeting tonight at 7:45 p.m. at the Christus Collegium. There is going to be an event this coming Saturday, as we have partnered with Living Waters for several events over this past year, but also in our relationship with them. It's an opportunity this Saturday to get to know our congregants at Living Waters deeper. It is the yearly district gathering. Now, this is a new event in the annual conference life. It's a district event where all the churches in Montana get together. Now, it's going to be on Zoom, but you're going to be invited to join here at BUMC and have lunch together and experience some reflections with Amanda Henderson, who is the recent executive director of the Institute for Religion, Politics, and Culture at the Iliff School of Theology. So I want to invite you to join us this Saturday, 9 a.m. There'll be learning sessions, and then there'll be lunch, and just an opportunity for people to gather together. Well, today is Youth Sunday, and it is a day in which we offer the reflection of faith from a different generation than most of us. And that's why it's important to be part of the church. It's why I believe that the church is an intergenerational community that makes space for youth and students to reflect this morning.
Hi, my name is Sadie, and welcome to Youth Sunday. We're so excited for you to be here today.
My name's Caroline. Welcome to Youth Sunday.
We are surrounded by diversity.
We all come from different backgrounds.
We are here together to listen to God's word.
We live together and are bound by God's love.
The Lord calls us to worship in unity.
In our worship, let us become one.
Well, hello there. I am here with Claire Mitchell, and she is a senior this year at Bozeman High. She reminded me that there aren't any seniors at Gallatin High this year, so she's a senior at Bozeman. And next year, after she graduates, she is planning on going to Carroll College in Helena. And she likes to run in her free time, and she also plays the ukulele. So maybe you could be in our ukuleles band that we have at church. Since today is Youth Sunday, we wanted to get a perspective about mental health from a youth and just kind of learn a little bit about their perspective. And so we're going to start with Clara answering just a basic, what does mental health mean to you? When you hear those words, mental health, what comes to mind?
I think it means taking care of your emotional needs because there's so much focus on your physical and academic needs that sometimes mental health can be forgotten about, and it's really important to make sure that you are happy and doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of leads into the next question about why do you think that mental health is important? As important as some of those other needs that you've talked about? Why is it just as important as all the other things of life?
Yeah, I think it's important because it's like fulfilling just your basic needs. Like everybody needs to be happy and content with their life, and like their emotional well-being should be just as important as physical well-being or academic well-being. It's just really necessary to be doing all right, or else you're not really living a fulfilled life or a great life.
Yeah. Well, this past year definitely increased the emphasis on mental health, knowing that things were just like a little bit crazier than normal. And so I wonder, how has that been like talked about at school or just in other places as it relates to young people?
I think in school, most of my support comes from my friends because, I mean, we haven't been in school very much. And I know that they send out like emails, like reminding you about mental health, but it's really not the same getting it in an email than like hearing it from friends. And I know teachers have talked about it a bit too, but there's also so much focus on the fact that we're not getting as much education this year. So that's definitely one of their more concerning aspects.
Yeah, that's understandable. What about at church? Have there been any ways, like when you're in youth group and stuff like that, has that been a support to you?
Oh, definitely. I love coming to youth group every Sunday. I love the people there and I love just being with everybody. I feel like that it gives me a place to be myself and just reflect, I guess. So I think it's a really good resource.
Awesome. Well, and so then lastly, I just wonder, you've been talking about how mental health is important. And so that would lead me to believe that you think about ways that you can support your mental health. So what are some of the things that you have either always done or maybe that you started doing this past year, knowing that things were a little bit more stressful even than normal?
I think that one big thing that really helps me is like taking time to exercise and also being with my friends. So usually combining those two. I ski a lot and I run, and I've just started weightlifting. So it's a really great way to just like not have to mentally focus on anything and just release energy. I don't know, it's like a really great way to reflect, I guess.
I love that, release energy. I think sometimes we get caught up thinking that our head has to be a part. I mean, it's called mental health. So it's like, oh, like it must be things, just talk therapy or whatever. But I definitely believe that our bodies are a big part of that. And the energy, it can get really tight and stuck when we get stressed. And so I love that idea of just thinking of ways to release that. That's really important.
Yeah, I think it's just very relaxing. So once you're done with your workout, then you're just really relaxed, and it's a great way to stop and think about things because you're not so tensed up by everything else.
Awesome. I wonder, we talked about youth group a little bit being a place where you can be yourself, but what about your connection like with God? Has that been helpful for your mental health, do you feel like?
Yeah, so for me, I really enjoy, like every day I take time to pray, and it's like praying and self-reflection. I do that every day just to check in on myself and then also like connect.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Clara, for being willing to do this. I know it's kind of vulnerable and weird, and being recorded on Zoom is strange, but we appreciate it. And I know that the people of the church will enjoy hearing your own reflections. So.
As we turn to our time of prayer, we want to lift up before the community, the people, and the situations this day that have been raised before us. Carol Flaherty's niece Shannon and her husband are both home recovering after being hospitalized with COVID-19. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. Kay Andrews will have emergency glaucoma surgery this week, and so we offer our healing mercies to her and her family. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. Linda Hospodor will be having eye surgery this week. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. And Kevin Maston's son, Michael, is suffering from PTSD as an ex-Marine, and so prayers for his mental and physical health. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. I invite us to pray this day. Holy Lord, whose presence and promise extend from generation to generation, we are not all the same, for you have created us unique and unrepeatable people. And within each generation, there is wisdom. There's wisdom in our children and wisdom in Generation Z, wisdom in our millennials, wisdom in Generation X and our baby boomers, and the soft-spoken, silent generation. And while across every one of us there is difference and disagreement, there is also here a wide, welcoming, diverse community that offers a place for people to hold our prayers united together. In each generation, O God, your promise marks our lives with a love that reaches beyond our sufferings, beyond our differences, beyond our needs, beyond the barriers. In each generation, O God, your forgiveness overwhelms us with grace and transforms our failures, heals our mistakes, and restores our hope. In each generation, there are issues and concerns that demand our attention. Oh God, you call us to look beyond ourselves, to find the vulnerable and hurting people, to stand alongside them with our support and our voice, to be willing to sacrifice for others as Christ sacrificed for us. Oh, loving God, as we find a place in this community, whether we are at the top of the mountain or in the deepest valley, unite our prayers together in the words Jesus taught us so long ago. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
We've been talking a lot about COVID-19 recently, as the anniversary of the shelter-in-place order has come and gone. Each of us has experienced the year from our own unique perspective. For most of us, this past year has been a challenge. We've experienced loss, loneliness, and disappointment. Change was difficult. Learning new technologies was tricky. We missed our friends and our life before all this began. Some of us also found moments of joy as well. Unexpected family time, time to work around the house, practice a new instrument, or pick up a new hobby. For our youth, it was a time of tremendous upheaval. Online learning, canceled music and sporting events, isolation and disappointment. And there were good times and so much opportunity for growth and self-reflection. Today we have the great privilege to hear from 4 of our youth who will share with us their experience of the COVID pandemic. what was hard, what they learned, and what they are taking with them into the future.
Think back to a couple summers ago, and you just got done from a long day of hiking with your friends and family and swimming and playing outside in the sun, and you're gathered around a campfire with the people who you love. You roasted marshmallows, you're laughing, sharing stories, and as the night goes on, as it gets deeper and deeper into the nighttime, the conversations tend to shift. We move into a place of vulnerability, a place where we talk to each other about those things that we are really wrestling with, things that are struggling in our hearts. This work that we do late at night, our night work, is the work that is intense and hard and scary and intimate and vulnerable. For a lot of young people, like all of us, this last year has felt like a long winter, the longest winter to ever happen. And even on the days when it was sunny out, it felt like we were just trying to trudge through deep, deep snow. The wind is blowing sideways at us, and we forgot our gloves at home. The other part of winter is the darkness. And I know for many of us, and for many of our young people, it has felt like the sun is just not coming up in the morning. It still feels dark and heavy every day because things are different and things are hard. And so when we were gathered together, we talked about what does it feel like to be in the darkness? What does it feel like to be doing our night work all year long? So we asked ourselves this question: what is it that we have wrestled with this year? What were the things that we had to look in the face with maybe a flashlight in the middle of the night? Those things that made us toss and turn all through this long winter. And because we had time to do this night work, what are the ways that we have shifted? What are the ways that we are going to step out into the light, step out into the spring in new and different ways?
I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any power, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God. Romans 8:38-39.
During the pandemic, everything has felt like it has been constantly changing. Back in March of 2020, I didn't know when I was going to go back to school or if I would even be able to go back at all. I also had to cancel almost all of my summer plans. This theme has continued into this school year, but fortunately while gradually returning to normal. When I found out that we were going to be returning to school for 2 days a week, I couldn't wait. I missed my friends and wanted to get back into a more structured routine. These unexpected changes have taught me that I sometimes won't be able to control all the events in my life. Instead, I need to let go of control and know that it will turn out all right in the end. My relationship with God has helped me to keep feeling hopeful throughout the experience.
For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13:12-13.
Although COVID halted our normal life, it gave us time for self-reflection. In this time, being in a community is more important than ever. This means being supportive to the people around you, as well as finding people who love and support you. I have learned that you don't have to put energy into maintaining superficial relationships with people who don't truly love you and who cut you down. Look for people who you see God in, who love you unconditionally and you can be your true self around. Value love and kindness. I also learned that you need to take care of yourself. Loving others as you love yourself entails being kind to yourself too. Take time to focus on learning what really makes you happy. Before the pandemic started, I didn't realize how upset I was with my classes and the people in them until I had that extra long spring break to do the things I enjoyed. I was able to spend time with myself and step away from the people around me, which allowed me to dig deeper into myself and invest my energy into people who truly support me in life.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. When you call on me, I will listen. When you seek me, I will be there. Jeremiah 29:11-13.
At the start of the pandemic, every day was a question mark. No one knew what was going on and nobody knew what the next day was going to look like. All sense of normalcy and structure were gone. For me, having no routine made each day feel even weirder than it already was. It felt like I had all this time, but I was getting nothing done. On March 28th, I had two new problems. A puppy I had been waiting on since February and the start of online school. I had to figure out how to manage both, and I needed to figure it out fast. So I decided to make a routine. I had a set time to get up, a set time to start school, to play with my puppy Leo, and times Leo took naps. Being a horrible procrastinator, this saved me. I couldn't procrastinate. I literally could not waste all of my day. My routine offered me structure that I needed in those first few months. This experience reminded me that God has a plan. I had a new puppy and COVID to deal with, but somehow I felt more put together and better than I had before.
Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the ends of the earth I call to you. I call as my heart grows faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the foe. I long to dwell in your tent forever and take refuge in the shelter of your wings. Psalm 61, 1-4.
I think that if this situation has given us one thing, it's insight on what's really important. This insight can help us to reevaluate the relationships, activities, and routines that we spend our time on. Pre-COVID, something I really struggled with was prioritization. I was always overbooked and I felt like I was running from one exhausting exploit to another. This rushing around meant that I didn't really enjoy anything that I was doing or anyone I was talking to. COVID offered a completely different change of pace. It allowed me to slow down, take a breath, and really reflect. I think the clarity that I gained from this experience helped me to see more clearly. And now that life is becoming busy again, I have to make time for the things that are important to me. It is my belief that if things are important, you will make time. And if you don't, how important can they really be? In my life now, I strive to make time for the relationships that bring me joy and keep me grounded. I've also had to make some tough decisions on what I spend my time doing. Throughout the pandemic, I have prioritized dancing, something I really enjoy, over activities that just brought me stress. This time has also helped me to make time for God through prayer and reflection. We only have so much time on this earth, and I aim to use it well.
In many churches, there's a holiday called Candlemas. The official date is sometime in February, but a lot of churches celebrate this holiday on the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. Candlemas is a celebration of light in the darkness. When Jesus was born, Jesus was a light to so many after a long, long winter. This last year, we have needed a Candlemas. We needed a campfire where we could sit around and talk about our hard, intense, vulnerable things that we were wrestling with and kept us tossing and turning through this long night. For many young people, it has felt like we are moving into spring, that Jesus brought this light in the darkness, and after celebrating Easter, even the darkest winter of all, death, isn't the end of the story. We've had a lot of time to sit around our campfires. We've had a lot of time to wrestle and had many sleepless nights this last year. And this work has been so important. This work has allowed us to step out into the springtime, step out into the light with a new look, a new perspective, a new feeling of hope and appreciation. And while we still are grieving, we are still struggling, nighttime still comes, we can feel accomplished. We can feel hopeful that we have done the work that God is calling us to do, to be full disciples of Jesus Christ and to bring that out into the light. So as we move forward together,
take opportunities to be kind and show love.
Make time for yourself, God, and others.
When you can, let go of control and be present. Prioritize your happiness and health, for God loves you.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. 4, 5, it won't be long, short, till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If you have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. 4, 5, it won't be long, short, so I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. 4, 5, it won't be long, short, till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. 4, 5, it won't be long, short, till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Gosh, what a gift the youth are to this community of faith. They are teaching us what it means to be vulnerable and in healthy relationships together. I want to offer a word of thanks for all those youth who reflected with us, who are vulnerable in our Youth Sunday presentation. A big word of thanks to Abby Thompson and Ann Dickinson. A fantastic job of bringing all of this together. Thank you so much. Next week, we're going to continue our April series of kind of doing some different things as we prepare to return to the sanctuary in May. And so next week will be Holy Hilarity Sunday, and there might possibly be a joke smackdown between the pastors. So you won't want to miss that opportunity next Sunday, 9:30 a.m. We want you to go into the world knowing that the youth are leading us. They're leading us to show love. They're leading us to make time for God. They're leading us to let go. And they're leading us to practice and prioritize healthiness. May you go into the world this week, knowing that in the chaos and the uncertainty, God is still walking with us. Amen.